What was good and bad about 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons? Okay, well, let's talk about the good first. Um, it had the first real systematized way of generating challenges that did not depend on combat. It's the first version of D&D to do that, and in fact, 5th edition kind of takes a step back from that. It had really compelling monster design, where monsters would often have different abilities depending on, say, how much damage you did to them. They introduced the idea of minions, which were uh, villains that you could just throw hordes of at, and they only had one state. They're either alive or not. So there was no tracking of the numbers when you're throwing hordes of these at somebody. You had compelling rules about how different roles people served within combat. You had um, a wide exploration of the different character types that you could have, ranging from, the uh, battle mind to the rune priest to the warden and so on. Bunch of class ideas, some of which got folded into 5th edition and some of which never made it. And I kind of want them to. The Warlord, I'm looking at you. But it had a few problems. One, it was different enough that a lot of people bounced off of it. The casting wasn't the classic Vancian casting that we were familiar with for wizards. And the structure, which did draw some inspiration from video games, made people feel like that was all there was to it. It did emphasize a lot of miniature combat because it had a lot of abilities that forced movement on different characters. You could play it Theater of the Mind, I did, but it certainly seemed to emphasize that. The other big problem was its release schedule. It was releasing at least a book a month for multiple years, sometimes more than a book a month. And that can get overwhelming. That's a lot of content. Um, that said, I would still play 4th edition today. It was a really good game. Um, its release schedule should have been slower, and some of the other elements are true, but overall, it was a success. It was a good game.